The mission begins. The vast expanse of space glittered with distant stars as the UNSC Nemesis, a colossal 5-kilometer-long supercarrier, glided silently towards the Valderan homeworld. Captain Chris Williams stood on the bridge, his weathered face set in a determined scowl, a testament to countless space battles fought and won. The hum of the engines and the recycled air of the ship were familiar, comforting reminders of the vessel he commanded. Today, however, was different. Today, they were humanity's last desperate hope. "Captain, we've entered the Valderan system," reported Lieutenant Chen, his voice tense with anticipation. Williams nodded, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Valderan fleet was already forming up, a massive armada led by their ruthless High Commander, Pryor. The enemy ships were sleek, deadly, and bristling with advanced technology. The stakes couldn't be higher. For months, the Valderans had attacked human colonies with impunity, their superior tech making them nearly unstoppable. But today, the UNSC was striking back. "All hands, battle stations," Williams ordered, his voice steady. "Prepare for engagement." As the Nemesis and its escorts approached, the Valderan fleet opened fire. Streams of laser fire and plasma torpedoes streaked across the void, explosions blossoming against the hulls of the smaller human vessels. But the Nemesis held firm, its advanced shielding absorbing the brunt of the attack. Williams watched as the Valderan ships moved with precision, their formations tight and their firepower overwhelming. "Return fire," he commanded. The Nemesis unleashed its own barrage, energy beams, and missile salvos cutting through the darkness. The flagship's weapons were among the most advanced in human history, and they tore into the Valderan ships with devastating effect. Even so, Williams knew this wouldn't be enough. They needed a plan, something that would turn the tide in their favor. "Sir, the Valderan flagship is heavily shielded," reported Tactical Officer Lyra. "Our weapons are having minimal effect." Williams nodded, his mind racing. "Prepare for Operation Starhawk," he ordered. His crew exchanged glances, but quickly set to work. Operation Starhawk was their secret weapon, a last-ditch maneuver that could make or break the battle. Deep within the Nemesis, a team of engineers worked frantically, bringing the directed energy beam online. Powered by a revolutionary fusion reactor, the weapon hummed to life. "Full speed ahead," Williams ordered. "Plot a course directly for the Valderan flagship." The Nemesis surged forward, engines roaring. High Commander Pryor watched in disbelief as the massive human ship charged straight at him. "All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel," Pryor shouted, his voice tinged with desperation. The Valderan fleet obeyed, pouring everything they had into the Nemesis. But the supercarrier's shields held, flaring brightly with each impact. As they closed to point-blank range, Williams gave the order. "Fire the Starhawk." A blinding beam of pure energy erupted from the Nemesis, slicing through the Valderan flagship's shields like they weren't even there. The beam struck dead center, splitting the enemy ship in two. Explosions rippled along its length as debris spun away, glittering in the light of the nearby star. The sudden destruction of their flagship sent shockwaves through the Valderan fleet. Some ships broke formation and fled, while others fought on desperately. Without coordination, they were easy pickings for the Nemesis and its escorts. "All ships, engage the enemy," Williams ordered. "Fighters and bombers, launch and target the remaining Valderan vessels." The human fleet surged forward, closing in on the scattered Valderan ships. Fighters and bombers swarmed out from the Nemesis, their weapons tearing into the enemy vessels. Explosions lit up the void as ship after ship fell to the human onslaught. On the surface of the Valderan homeworld, human dropships descended, carrying Marines and heavy equipment. They landed in key locations, securing strategic points and cutting off Valderan supply lines. The ground battle had begun. As Williams watched the Valderan fleet crumble, a sense of pride swelled in his chest. The Nemesis had proven itself, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. But even as he savored the victory, He knew this was only the beginning. The Valorans would be back, seeking vengeance. The universe has just learned the true strength of humanity, Williams thought, his jaw set with resolve. And it will not soon forget. Uncovering the conspiracy. The smoke cleared as the Nemesis and its escort ships mopped up the last remnants of Valoran resistance. Captain Chris Williams let out a long breath, his body still tense from the adrenaline of battle. They had won, but at a cost. He looked out at the wreckage of enemy ships, the twisted metal and debris a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. "Captain, we've secured the Valoran capital," reported Lieutenant Chen. "But there's something you need to see." Williams frowned, following Chen to a hidden underground complex beneath the city. The Marines had discovered it during their sweep. As they descended into the depths, Williams felt a growing sense of unease. What they found inside was beyond anything he had imagined. The laboratory was vast, filled with advanced equipment and strange, bubbling vats. In the center of it all was a massive computer system, its screens displaying complex diagrams and equations. Williams stepped closer, his eyes widening as he realized what he was looking at. "My God," he breathed. They were experimenting with mind control. The implications hit him like a punch to the gut. If the Valorans had perfected this technology, they wouldn't have just conquered humanity. They could have enslaved the entire galaxy. Every sentient species reduced to puppets dancing on Valoran strings. "Secure this facility," he ordered his men. "I want every scrap of data analyzed and every piece of equipment cataloged. We need to know exactly what they were doing here and how close they were to making it work." As the Marines set to work, Williams sent an encrypted message back to Earth, warning them of the danger. The Valorans may have been defeated, but this was far from over. If there were other members of this cable out there, they needed to be found and stopped. He began poring over the files, looking for any clue to the other conspirators' identities or locations. The Nemesis had won the battle, but Williams knew that the real fight was just beginning. They had stumbled onto something bigger than they could have ever imagined. He felt a chill run down his spine as he worked. He couldn't shake the sensation that somewhere out there, the cable was watching him, waiting for their moment to strike. "Let them watch," he thought grimly. "The Nemesis and her crew will be ready for them, no matter how long it takes or how far we have to go. We will hunt these bastards down and end their plot once and for all. The fate of the free galaxy depends on it." The cable strikes back. Days turned into weeks as the Nemesis and its crew continued their investigation into the Valoran mind control experiments. The data they uncovered was both shocking and terrifying. The Valorans hadn't been working alone. There were records of communication and collaboration with other alien races, all working together on this mind control project. It was a conspiracy on a galactic scale, with the goal of creating a new world order. Williams knew they had to act fast. The longer they waited, the more time the cable had to prepare. But just as they were closing in on a lead, a distress call came through from a nearby human colony. The timing couldn't have been worse. "Captain, it's an emergency," Lieutenant Chen reported. "The colony is under attack. They're being overrun." Williams stared at the tactical display, watching the alien ships swarming around the colony. Their weapons were tearing through the colony's defenses like they were made of paper. "It has to be the Kibble," Williams muttered, his hands clenching into fists. "They're trying to draw us away, to distract us from our real target." He wrestled with the decision for a long moment. The Nemesis was the most powerful ship in the human fleet, and it was the colony's best chance for survival. But if he sent the Nemesis to defend the colony, it would mean abandoning their hunt for the Kibble. "We'll split our forces," he decided. "Send a portion of the fleet to defend the colony. The Nemesis and the rest will continue on to the Kibble's location." His crew relayed the orders, and Williams watched as a group of ships peeled away from the formation, racing towards the besieged colony. He could only pray that they would be enough to hold off the alien attack. The Nemesis and its remaining escorts pressed on, closing in on the coordinates where they believed the cable was hiding. As they approached, Williams felt a growing sense of unease. Something didn't feel right. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship, multiple contacts emerging from stealth. The tactical officer shouted, "They're everywhere." The view screen lit up with the sight of alien ships, their hulls sleek and angular, their weapons glowing with an eerie light. They were like nothing Williams had ever seen before, far more advanced than even the Volorans. "All ships, engage," Williams ordered, even as a cold realization settled in his gut. The Cabal had been holding back, hiding their true strength until this moment, and now they had the Nemesis exactly where they wanted it. The battle was joined, human and alien ships trading blows across the void. The human fleet fought bravely, but they were outmatched. The alien weapons sliced through their shields like they weren't even there, while their own attacks seemed to barely scratch the alien hulls. The Nemesis shuddered as it took hit after hit, its shields flickering and failing. Consoles exploded across the bridge, showering the crew with sparks. "Shields are down," someone shouted. "Weapons offline." Williams gripped the arms of his chair, his mind racing. They couldn't win this fight, not against these odds. But they couldn't let the cable escape either. If they did, all of this would have been for nothing. He made his decision in a heartbeat. "Helm, set a collision course for the largest alien ship," he ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. Ramming speed. There was a moment of stunned silence on the bridge. Then his crew leaped into action, their faces grim with determination. They knew what this meant. They knew the price they would pay. The Nemesis surged forward, its engines straining as it accelerated towards the alien flagship. The alien ship tried to evade, but it was too late. The Nemesis slammed into its hull with a force that shook the very fabric of space. Williams felt the impact in his bones, felt the deck beneath his feet buckling and twisting. He saw the alien ship breaking apart, its hull rupturing and spilling debris into the void. And he saw the Nemesis, his ship, his home, being torn to shreds around him. He felt a sharp pain in his chest, looked down to see a jagged piece of metal protruding from his body. With the last of his strength, Williams reached out and activated the Nemesis self-destruct sequence. The cable would never get their hands on the ship's secrets. The Nemesis would die, but it would take the heart of the Cabal with it. As the world around him faded into darkness, Williams thought of Earth, of the colonies, of all the trillions of lives that he had sworn to protect. He hoped that his sacrifice would be enough, that the Nemesis' final act would give humanity a fighting chance. Then he knew no more. Aftermath and revelation. The explosion that tore through the alien flagship was visible even from the distant human colony. The debris field glittered in the cold light of the distant stars, a testament to the ultimate sacrifice made by the Nemesis and its crew. The portion of the fleet that had been sent to defend the colony returned, battered but victorious, just in time to witness the destruction of the alien mothership. Admiral Yara, now in command, stood on the bridge of the UNSC Vigilant, the new flagship. The sight of the wreckage of the Nemesis filled her with a mixture of sorrow and pride. Captain Williams and his crew had paid the ultimate price, but they had dealt a devastating blow to the Cabal. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the colony," reported Lieutenant Ortega. "Put it through," Yara ordered. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of Governor Tallet. His expression was one of relief and gratitude. "Admiral Yara, I can't thank you enough. The colony is safe, thanks to your quick response and the bravery of the Nemesis crew." Yara nodded. "We're here to protect all of humanity, Governor. We'll continue to do so, no matter the cost." As the transmission ended, Yara turned to her officers. "We need to regroup and assess the damage. And we need to find out if any of the Cabal members survived. This fight is far from over." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Crews worked around the clock to repair the damaged ships and recover any useful data from the wreckage. As they sifted through the debris, They made a startling discovery. Hidden among the twisted metal and shattered consoles were encrypted data modules. It seemed the cable had been trying to transmit their plans just before the Nemesis' final attack. Admiral Yara convened a meeting with her top officers and the leading scientists from the colony. The data modules were brought in, and the decryption process began. As the files were decoded, a clearer picture of the cable's intentions emerged. It appears that the cable was far more widespread and organized than we initially thought, explained Dr. Klein, one of the colony's leading scientists. They had agents embedded in various governments and military organizations across the galaxy. Their goal was to destabilize and control through advanced technology and psychological manipulation. Yara frowned. And how close were they to achieving this goal? Very close, Dr. Klein replied. The mind control technology they were developing could have given them unprecedented power. If the Nemesis hadn't stopped them when they did, we could be facing a very different future. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the gravity of the situation. Finally, Admiral Yara spoke. We need to make sure this never happens again. We need to find every last member of this cable and bring them to justice. And we need to ensure that their technology is destroyed or secured, so it can never be used against us. The officers and scientists nodded in agreement. The battle may have been won, but the war against the cable was just beginning. The hunt for the cable. With the decrypted data in hand, Admiral Yara and her team began the arduous task of tracking down the remaining cable members. The information led them to various star systems, uncovering hidden bases and secret meeting places. Each new discovery brought them closer to understanding the full scope of the cable's operations. As the UNSC fleet moved from one location to another, they encountered fierce resistance. The cable's loyalists were determined to protect their secrets and continue their mission. Battles erupted in the cold void of space, with human ships clashing against the cable's advanced technology. In one such engagement, the UNSC Vigilant led a strike force against a fortified asteroid base. The cable's defenses were formidable, with automated turrets and drone fighters swarming to intercept the human ships. Admiral Yara watched the tactical display intently, issuing orders with precision. "Target their shield generators," she commanded. "We need to break through and disable their defenses." The Vigilant's weapons roared to life, sending volleys of energy beams and missiles toward the asteroid. Explosions rocked the surface as the shield generators were destroyed, leaving the base vulnerable. "All units, move in," Yara ordered. "Boarding teams, prepare for entry." Marines in powered armor launched from the Vigilant, their drop pods piercing the asteroid's weakened defenses. They stormed the base, engaging in fierce close-quarters combat with cable loyalists. The corridors echoed with the sound of gunfire and explosions as the Marines fought their way toward the command center. Inside the command center, a high-ranking cable operative named Calith orchestrated the defense. His eyes blazed with determination as he directed his forces, but he knew the odds were against them. "Fall back to the inner sanctum," Calith ordered. "We must protect the data at all costs." As the Marines closed in, Calith activated a self-destruct sequence for the base's outer sections. Explosions rocked the asteroid, forcing the Marines to retreat temporarily. But the delay was only a minor setback. Admiral Yara received the report from the ground. "Prepare to breach the inner sanctum," she ordered. "We can't let them destroy the data." The Marines regrouped and launched a final assault on the command center. Calith and his loyalists fought valiantly, but they were ultimately overwhelmed. With the command center secured, the Marines accessed the cable's central computer system, extracting valuable intelligence. Admiral Yara reviewed the data with her team. "This confirms our suspicions," she said. "The cable's network is vast, with operatives embedded in key positions across multiple star systems. We need to move quickly to dismantle their operations." The hunt continued, with the UNSC fleet striking at cable strongholds and disrupting their plans. Each victory brought them closer to eradicating the threat, but the cabal was relentless. They launched counterattacks, sabotaged supply lines, and spread disinformation to sow confusion. Despite the challenges, Admiral Yara remained resolute. She knew that the legacy of Captain Williams and the Nemesis demanded nothing less than total victory. The final stand. After months of relentless pursuit, the UNSC fleet had tracked the cable's leadership to a hidden base deep within a nebula. The nebula's dense gases and volatile energy fields made it a treacherous location, but it was the perfect hiding place for the cable's last stand. Admiral Yara stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, her eyes fixed on the swirling colors of the nebula. "This is it," she said, her voice filled with determination. "We end this today." The fleet moved cautiously through the nebula, their sensors strained by the interference. As they approached the coordinates, they detected a massive energy signature. The cable's base was heavily fortified, with multiple layers of shielding and automated defenses. "All ships, prepare for combat," Yara ordered. "This will be the toughest battle yet, but we can't afford to fail." The Vigilant led the charge, its weapons blazing as they engaged the cable's defenses. The nebula lit up with explosions as energy beams and missiles clashed. The cable's ships emerged from hiding, launching a fierce counterattack. Admiral Yara watched the tactical display, issuing orders with precision. "Target their command center," she commanded. "We need to cut off their leadership." The fleet pressed forward, focusing their fire on the central structure. The cable's defenses were formidable, but the UNSC ships fought with unparalleled determination. They had come too far and sacrificed too much to turn back now. Inside the cable's base, the leader of the cable, known only as the Overseer, watched the battle unfold. He was a tall, imposing figure, his face hidden behind a mask. He knew that defeat was imminent, but he was determined to make the UNSC pay dearly for their victory. "Activate the final protocol," the Overseer ordered. "If we cannot win, we will ensure they do not leave this nebula alive." A massive energy surge emanated from the cable's base, triggering a chain reaction within the nebula. The volatile gases began to ignite, creating a series of cataclysmic explosions. Admiral Yara's eyes widened as she realized what was happening. "All ships, fall back," she ordered. "Get clear of the nebula. Now." The UNSC fleet scrambled to escape the expanding inferno. Ships accelerated to maximum speed, dodging debris and energy blasts. The Vigilant led the way, its engines straining as it pushed through the chaos. As they neared the edge of the nebula, the cable's base erupted in a final cataclysmic explosion. The shockwave rippled through space, sending ships tumbling. But the UNSC fleet emerged, battered but intact. Admiral Yara breathed a sigh of relief. "We did it," she said, her voice filled with both exhaustion and triumph. "The cable is finished." A new dawn. With the cable defeated, the UNSC fleet returned to Earth, greeted as heroes. The sacrifice of Captain Williams and the crew of the Nemesis was honored, their legacy cemented in the annals of history. Admiral Yara stood before a gathering of dignitaries and military leaders, her speech broadcast across the galaxy. "Today, we celebrate not just a victory, but a new beginning," she said. "We have faced the darkness and emerged stronger. We will rebuild, and we will ensure that such a threat never rises again." The galaxy began to heal, alliances strengthened by the shared struggle against the cabal. Advanced technologies were secured and studied, their secrets used to bolster defenses and improve lives. Humanity and its allies looked to the stars with renewed hope and determination. Admiral Yara knew that the fight for peace and security was never truly over, but with the courage and ingenuity of people like Captain Williams and the crew of the Nemesis, she was confident that the galaxy would face any future challenges with unwavering resolve. The story of the Nemesis and its crew became a beacon of hope and inspiration, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. And as long as that spirit endured, the galaxy would remain free from the shadows of tyranny.